I'm Chris Tuck, a financial advisor, CFP, with a passion for educating my clients about investing. My father-in-law, Scott Kleiman, founded the practice, and together with my wife, Lindsay, and amazing staff, we are making a place to feel more at home with investing. This is Advisors in Cars Getting Coffee. Today, we're going out with Larry Rosenthal, one of our go-to specialists for disability insurance. He represents Guardian as a field representative with one of the top providers of this type of insurance. Larry's helped many of our clients obtain disability insurance and has even helped in the unfortunate circumstances of claims. Today, we are picking up Larry and Scott in a 2017 white Land Rover Discovery. You guys ready to get some coffee?
Very roomy, yes.
Yes.
We've got plenty of light.
Wow, it's really lit up in here. And look what I found in the back. A little rubber duck.
Nice. That's for your next client.
It's for our next client. Mine because Robin has little kids in the car a lot during the week. 2 little cuties.
This is the bus.
Yeah, so wow.
School bus.
Look at this car.
It's very roomy. It's very roomy. I can see it's very easy to get in and to take the kids out. What do you have, car seats you have to put in there?
Yeah, I had to switch them out this morning.
Uh-huh.
All right. Here we
Wow,
go.
is this a quick car?
Yeah, I think it's pretty fast. The brakes work really well too.
Yeah.
As grandparents, we have one permanent car seat in one of our cars. So,
They're usually permanent back there. 2 of them.
Wow. So
So have
Where
you guys been?
you've been good.
Yeah. I thought we'd go get some coffee today at the Hattery.
We're going to the Hattery.
Yes.
Where's that at? The Doylestown Inn?
Yeah, it's right up here around the corner.
You know, I rarely get up this way, but it's so quaint. It's and I understand it has a lot to offer, this town.
Yeah, it's a good little town. It's been good.
It
to
is.
us.
All right, so we're just gonna what? Get out, across the street.
Yeah, it's right across the street here.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Larry.
I'm glad to come and meet with both of you.
Yeah, we're
Good.
really happy to
I
talk to
appreciate
you. You know, I wanted to talk today about disability insurance. You know, you're our specialist when it comes to helping our clients with disability insurance. And Scott and I have seen way too often a perfectly good financial plan just get devastated by an unforeseen event like a disability. And we've had clients that have had to go on claim.
We have.
And seeing that impact on that family, not just emotionally and everything that goes through, but then the financial burden. And having something in place that can take at least a little bit of that burden away and that ease is just so important, and really important for us as advisors to make sure we're having that communication with our clients and that discussion to make sure they're protected. So I'm sure you've seen your fair share of claims and your fair share of cases. So, you know, just from a high level.
One of the reasons I enjoy working with both you, Scott and Chris, is because I do a lot of work with a lot of planners. And a lot of them don't think of the total plan as far as protection is concerned as much as you do. It's important that people recognize at least are given a chance to consider putting a significant piece of protection in place.
One of the interesting stats is that you always mention is that most disability claims are not from what people normally think about, like an injury, right?
It's correct. Statistically speaking, across the board of all the disability insurance carriers, more than 90% of the claims that we all see are from sicknesses and illnesses.
Wow.
People have to understand that.
So, Larry, you know, what qualifies as like a disabling event? So, if someone has a long-term disability policy, what happens when they actually start receiving claims?
Well, there's a process. If they have a plan that you've implemented for some of your clients, what they'll do is they'll call you.
Sure.
Okay? And the point is, they wake up in the morning and they can't go to work. And it may be as abrupt as that or something that develops over time. So they're at a point now where they know they're going to be missing work, and they're going to call you, and I'll help you go through the process of filing a claim. So the insurance company will take information in from the person who has the policy, and they'll start requesting, that is, the insurance company will start requesting medical records and financial documentation, because those are the 2 pieces of information that they will use to figure out what's going on with that individual from a a sickness or illness standpoint, and then how much income is affected as a result of them not being able to work.
Right.
So Larry, the definition of a long-term disability is not really standard, correct? Could you just give us a little bit of highlight about that?
Sure. Actually, that falls right into what we were just discussing, because when some people spend a lot of time to create their craft and a lot of money to do so. People have to understand that there are different definitions of disability among different carriers, and that some of them will pay them a benefit if they can't do their occupation that they've been performing for as long as they can do it. There are other definitions in a disability contract. They say that they will protect their occupation or give them a benefit if they can't do their job for a couple of years. And then there are some definitions in disability that says if you can't do your job but you can go do something else that you're educated and trained to do, then maybe you're going to have to do that and not even collect a benefit. So it depends on the situation of that individual. Each situation is unique.
Right, and they're taxed differently as well, right, depending on how you fund the policy.
Sure, taxes. If the client who purchased the long-term disability policy pays the premium without deducting it on their tax return, then any potential benefit that they collect is tax-free. Okay. If they deduct the premium, then and they collect the benefit, they're gonna get a 1099 from the insurance company.
So a lot of times the confusion of disability of insurance, a lot of that comes from group policies or coverage people might have through work. So I know there's a lot of confusion. A lot of times we have clients come in and we start talking about disability insurance and they say, well, I already have I'm covered through my employer. And we say, well, let's make sure. I say, what do you mean? I have a policy. I'm protected. So just as, for people watching, what are the things that they could be asking for from their employer so they get a better understanding of what coverage they actually have with their group policy, and how does group policy work versus an individual?
Chris, you're making some great points. Most people I talk to, when they tell me they have something at work, they don't know. If you ask them, they have no idea. They just know they have something.
Right.
So it's a really good service that you provide to them if you can get them to contact HR or go on their benefits site and secure what they call the long-term disability description of coverage certificate.
Okay.
And that's usually about a 30-page document, but you can read through it pretty quickly. And of course I can help you do that if you want me to. And there's probably a half a dozen pieces embedded in there that they should be aware of. One of them gets back to the occupation, the definition of disability, of being totally disabled. What does that mean? And usually in the plans that are provided for by their employer, it's not as strong as individual policies. There are income offsets. So if somebody goes out on a claim, then what's going to happen is if there's any workers' comp, they're going to deduct that from the insurance coverage by the company. If they go on Social Security, and all of those things get offset.
Right. And you've mentioned a lot in the past about bonus pay. A lot of people are compensated in multiple ways now.
Right. So the variable compensation, the definition of covered earnings, you'll find in that description document, and you'll learn whether or not bonuses and commissions are covered.
Right.
In today's day and age, companies provide a very small salary and a very large carrot. Okay, but sometimes it's only the small salary that's covered through the plan.
Are there any other special circumstances that should be considered, or no?
Absolutely should. There are people who are in business with other people, and they want to protect their own, percentage interests in the joint venture. And if somebody is unable to work because they're too sick or hurt, then they want to have a plan in place protected by a disability policy where the partner who is no longer able to work can be bought out. And so if they go on a claim, the insurance company will pay the healthy partner the money to be able to buy the sick partner's stock, and then bring in a new partner to work with that person. Or you have a sole professional who is responsible for all the expenses of the organization, including people that work for them, expenses that that are the routine expenses, utilities, and so on and so forth, insurance. And if that person can't work and bring in the revenue, they have a decision to make. Whether they're going to stay out for a long period of time, and do they want to have the practice be viable for a while, and then maybe in the preparation to sell it. So there's a insurance policy that reimburses that individual of their expenses that they paid out of pocket to keep the company afloat until such time they make that decision.
Right, so there's definitely specialties for business owners. I think you've also mentioned some specialties within the long-term disability of protecting retirement savings,
Yes.
which is really interesting. Well, thanks so much for coming out, Larry, today. I think our clients and the viewers are going to really learn a lot about disability insurance. People don't have disability coverage, or maybe they have a group policy and then they go, wow, I really don't know what I have. I encourage them to contact us and walk through the process, and we'll be using you to help along the way. So thanks again, Larry.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.